So now we travel to Mammoth,
Mammoth.
California.
Yes, I make a little pit stop training with a VJ and my friends in Colorado. I stayed there for altitude acclimatization and for having fun and eating Chipotle. So successful in all three parameters there.
Chipotle,
Um,
my go-to spot to eat on the road. Get off the airport, land, type in my hotel, then type in on the way, and I type Chipotle.
mhm. Always they have it's called something a little bit it's called Qdoba most places in Colorado, but it's very Qdoba and Chipotle. It's like potato. It's basically the same thing you get. So I think that I'm always staying at Tamara Day Hills and I love being there. We have so much fun together and
That's
then do the
VJ's. That's VJ's girlfriend, right?
VJ's girlfriend's mom.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we always have good fun, and it's a house where people come by. Jack Bauer swings by, Chris Rogowski swings by, Nicole. I get to see people while I'm there, and I got to travel with my friend from Norway, Signy, who ended up doing really well at OCRWC as
Signe
well.
Caroline.
Caroline, and Ida joined in as well, and not going to Mammoth though. So Colorado's fun. Headed to OCRWC, and for the first time ever, I headed there feeling not super excited. I was like, oh my goodness, this is put at insane elevation at a really expensive place to go to. You're now partnered with Spartan. What is this gonna mean? And I'm like, people are kind of annoyed that it's happening on the West Coast. It's really far away from Europe. And it's the year that FISO hosts an event, which although the marketing for that was just like directly for the trash, like it was the worst marketing I've ever seen for FISO. It's just like it was so bad. It's most chat GPT worst stuff ever. Then OCRWC had to
How
battle with
dare
the
you insult ChatGPT? ChatGPT is helping put food on my table.
Oh, it's helping me as well, but I mean, you should read some of the posts from World Obstacle. It makes me smile and laugh. And I mean, Ian Adamson is a very well-spoken man, so just let him write the text. He's a very intelligent man. He can write text. But yeah. So I was like, Adventure A has a lot of struggles with like all those things around the event, and I'm like, I wonder how it's gonna be. So I went there and I was like, oh my God. So I tried to make the trip fun. So even if the event wasn't, I still had fun. Like I flew into Vegas, got an RV. I never tried that before.
Nice.
And drove in the RV with Ismail and Signy, and like we drove like hundreds of kilometers and through the desert, and we stopped at like Area 51 gas stations. We had a good time.
I have to tell the listener that what he was just doing was the international symbol for driving a big bus. When you put your
Yes.
hands on opposite sides, like you have a giant steering wheel, that's what he was just doing.
I was so disappointed it was a regular size steering wheel. I was like,
That's no fun.
I wanted the big one. So we get to Mammoth and it's beautiful. Like the weather was good. It was beautiful out. I was like, the venue is good. Like it looks good. Then I went for a run and I was like, this venue sucks. I can't breathe. Like I was like, oh my God, air. I need air. And then like 24 hours later, I felt way better. Like I had to do all the things.
Because Stratton is kind of the bomb. Let's be honest. Like Stratton is
That
amazing.
was really good. I still like it was a little weird, like just up, down, flat, but I think London was like highlights of the OCRWC races. Those were absolutely amazing. But Mammoth, I see the course. I go jog around, to check out like now not three. It's no longer a 3K, it's a 4K loop. I talk to the organizer. I'm like, guys, it's your ninth year. You say 3K, stop making it a 4K because you're putting fewer obstacles than you announced, and now the race is longer.
I didn't hear
This is
this. It was 4K.
Yeah, it was 3.9, so almost 4K.
Interesting.
And I understand the difficulty of like legislation of where you can like actually put the course markings, not to like ruin nature, but cut out a loop or something. Like just make it three. I mean, I'm not paying to run extra miles here. I'm paying to be really good at running 3K. That's what I want to do. That's why I bought it said 3 and I want 3. Um, so I like,
Fair.
okay, this, and I noticed fewer obstacles than they had announced on the course, and now it's like 33% longer. So I was like, this is gonna feel not like running the OCRWC 3K, but it's gonna feel basically like running a short Spartan sprint. I don't love running Spartan sprints because I don't feel competitive enough. I feel like I'm a pretty fast dude. Like I can run well for that stuff, but I wanna like I came there with I flew all that way, spent all that money because I wanted to be competitive for my first podium. I trained full time for a while. I felt like my fitness was best ever.
I
I was
just
like,
want to
yes.
I want to give you a I'm going to become a Leon apologist here because I can see some people listening saying, like if they're a regular obstacle racer, like what's the big deal? And that's half the fun of obstacle racing is we don't know what we're going to get, is that we're talking the elite championship level. And when you take the best half marathoners in the world, they have their half marathon pace down to a second. If you
Yeah.
then made it 13.8, that would fuck them up, right?
Mm,
Or if the 100 meters was 110 meters, right?
mm.
Like, so again, maybe nobody's saying this, but I can see some people saying, like, why is he complaining? These elites complain too much. But yes, if you pay for a 3K, it should be the obstacles promised in amount and it should be the distance promised. So I agree with you. Please go ahead.
No, I mean, most events I go to, I love that. It's the reason I fell in love with obstacle racing is that I didn't really know what I was getting into, and I always had a fun solving the task at hand. But the more I've gotten into being a competitive athlete, now that my bonuses and now my potential prize money and my reflection on how I view myself as an athlete does, to a certain level, align with results, then you kind of want the training you've done to be sensible for whatever you're racing. So I'm out
Perfect.
there, I'm about to race for the 3 point something K, and I just didn't have it. Like I started running first hill, and I was just like, Jesus, this is not a good situation. But I kept grinding. I just didn't have access to fitness. It was really weird. I don't want to complain about anything else than I think I should have been at that altitude a little bit longer. Because the next day at the 15K, I ran really well. I just, on the three, is a shorter course. I did not have very well good access to fitness. I did finish at a fifth place, but that fifth place was still like almost 2 minutes behind the winning time. So I'm like, we're just looking at the spread was just big. And also Nicole beat me with a second. She hasn't done that before. And I've been,
You're
she
getting
did,
chicked. It's a good
I
time.
got
It's a
shit.
good thing you're getting out of the sport, Leon.
Yeah,
Jesus,
man, it's
getting
about
chicked
money.
out
Why do you
there.
think I'm retiring? Like Nicole like murdered my confidence.
I think I picked you third or fifth. I can't remember, but I had you in my top five. So thanks for at least getting fifth, so that it counts. So I got a point there from Jack's
I tried to get
contest.
your points. I tried to get your points in Jack contest. I
Thank
take
you.
that seriously as well. So I mean, no, I just I finished and they asked me like how did it feel, and I have to say honestly it felt very Spartan sprint like, and the organizer also said I get it, and they felt sorry that they couldn't construct the track they wanted to do, and then they promised me it'll be different this year. So I'm kind of excited about this year, like, so I'm woo, it's gonna be very fun, and I think we're looking at 10th year OCRWC. It'll be very like what they've done in the past and more like it, so that's really good. 15K was exactly how I wanted OCRWC to be. And also, I had access to fitness. Like I started running, and yeah, elevation was like definitely a thing, but I just felt like an athlete again. I felt like I could actually move. Um, so I think my warm up maybe was better. I don't know if it's because it early in the day or I had like an extra night of sleep or my vascular system was more ready for it, but I was feeling good. 15K running, and I've noticed in Strava there's like an obstacle segment like almost at the top of the mountain where I got the fastest time of everybody there. So I think my obstacle proficiency on the long course played in really well, and I got my first OCRWC podium, finishing third.
Let's
Um,
go.
very excited. I remember I remember finishing and being
Who was ahead of you?
Atkins wins with Hosek behind him.
Got it.
And then but the talk I've had to have with myself is not who was in front of me, it was who was behind me. And that was our one of our favorite Russians,
Sergey?
Igor
Yeah.
who came over as the only Russian in 2021 and podiumed in both 21 and 22 podium, then both the OCRWC 3 and the 15K. So Igor is no joke. He just won FISO 15K like 3 weeks before. And Tyler Bierman was
Nice
fifth.
job.
Um, so I was like, all right, yes, not like all the guys came for this race, but the guys that I beat have previously won these things. Like
Yes.
I'm feeling good about that. And the time to like Ian and Ryan weren't bad. So I was like, I feel like that was maybe the race of the year. I was like, this is really good. I had fun at the team races the next day, doing both the mix and the men's category. And I was just like, wow, all this training. I felt like after the 3K at FISO, 3K Adventure, I was like, man, those didn't pan out the way you wanted them to pan out. Euro champs I got second at Euro champs this year in the 3K. Pretty close to pretty close to getting my third individual title, but not quite there. I was like, what's like, I feel fit. I feel like I've done all the right things. I've been very smart about it. I've been following my program. But then luckily I did good in the 15, which shows the fitness is there. And then fast forward to Abu Dhabi.
Before we
I
get to
actually
Abu Dhabi, just quickly, how did you do in the two team races?
uh first and second. We did the mixed team, second place. Wait, yeah, second place. And we got first in the men's team. I ran with Ian and Ryan for that one.
Oh, that one. Come on, man. First, second, and third run the race. That shouldn't even be fair. And previously, Team Denmark, you've been first or second like every year, right?
First, second, I think is and a third. We had a third at some point as well. But generally we podiumed on the team. But this year, I ran a little low on Danes. So I did an international team with Manu and Signy, which
Okay.
was all fun. And then I did a team with Ryan and Ian because we thought that would be very, very fun as well.
What was the name of
Um,
that team?
what did we go for? It wasn't the Danish sandwich. It
I
was
was gonna
something.
say, I remember that one year, Leon Sandwich.
The Danish sandwich of some kind. That was with Rylan and VJ. I have to think about that. I'll let you know if that pops up the name for
It's
that.
okay. Okay, so now we head to Abu Dhabi.
And then I finally got that 3K race I was looking for all year. Like I ran the prelims decently, like especially the second prelim, I ran really well. And then in the final, I just found a really good rhythm. And it wasn't until the very last carry I started making like mistakes on my like distribution of energy. So I almost did get caught and went to fifth place, but I finished fourth in the 3K final, and that was a really really big performance for me. I thought Mexico was like the jam for me because I outran Rylan and Manu in Mexico, finishing behind Eugenio and Angel. Um, so I was like, okay, now I'm getting my 3K legs. I'm like feeling this is gonna be like the Spartan 3K might be the 3K I'll do best in. I thought it would be OCRWC, but the Spartan 3K is like turning out really well for me. So I'm very, very, very proud of how things came together in Abu Dhabi. And I
So
know
remind me of the podium of Abu Dhabi.
it was VJ and it was Ryan. No, yeah, Ryan was in front of me, and between Ryan and VJ, we had. I'm gonna have to like. Why can't I remember this?
Yeah, I guess you're gonna have to go to your own post, maybe. Look it up.
You're gonna hate this. I'm going to a different profile to find this out. I'm not gonna.
Oh, you're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
you can go
Pablo.
to OCR report. It's okay. If that's where you're gonna go. Is that what you're gonna say? You can go to OCR
Yeah.
report. They're good with that stuff. I had one
Oh
too,
yeah.
probably, but you can go to them. It's okay.
Yeah. It was
Who's
Pablo Hadinia from the Czech
That's right.
Republic.
Right. We hadn't really heard of, but yes.
No, I've been racing Pablo since
No,
2017. And
no, I'm
I
sure Jack
remember
knows him. I'm sure you know him, but nobody else.
I remember racing Pavel, and I was like, he has that look where he looks fit, but he doesn't look like that fit. And then he's a big man. So you're thinking, wow, this is one of those guys that like does CrossFit on the side and does a little bit of
Is he
running.
like a Kent, like a Ryan Kent body type?
Not that Kent is much like more beefy, especially now that he's gone beefier.
I
But
mean,
if you,
he's kind of an Adonis, let's be honest. If you stand close to Ryan Kent with his shirt off,
yeah, I've done that. It was humbling. It was humbling. Um, but yeah, it was Pavel, and he also did well in the 21K. I think he got fourth or fifth there.
and
Um,
you did or you didn't run the beast there.
I did not run the beast. I wanted to save my energy for the team race, which we were kind of favorites to win the team race, the Slovakian team, and also the Czech Republic team were both also candidates to do really well because they had strong female runners and strong male runners as well. So I run the team. Nikolai goes first. It's good to be back with Nikolai, like racing as a team. Then Ida, then me. Nikolai makes a little mistake on the rig in the first round, so he
Oh
actually
no.
gets a monster penalty. You know, you probably saw the coverage where if you miss the rig, you gotta like you kind of run, you just keep running, and then you turn around and come back. So Nikolai ran out, and I tried to motivate Ida with the only way to do it when you're losing, filthy lies. I was using filthy lies to motivate Ida, yelling things like, "We can still win this thing. We got the podium. Just run faster, Ida." And she dominates. She runs the fastest time of all the women with like quite the margin, and picks up quite a few. I think we're in like fifth once Ida gives me the baton and I get to not the actual baton, but you know what I mean, the high five, the OCR baton. And then I go and I'm very, very proud. I ran the fastest men's split of the day, even faster than Gregory Basilico by 1 second. He was the second fastest. I was like, oh God, I beat Gregory. That was like a real big deal because Basilico is known as to being like probably the fastest guy on feet out there. So it,
I think VJ told me that he was taunting everyone about how they did the rig, and he said, "Oh, if you're really good, you don't touch the ropes or whatever," and that's why Nikolai decided to do that, and that's what cost you.
there was a lot of teasing about that weekend, especially for the women, not so much because it was like everybody kind of did it. You see, and with the men, I know Ida was like, "I think it's stupid. We shouldn't do it." And then I'm like, "Are you gonna do it?" She was like, "Obviously, everybody else is doing it." And then we had been teasing Nikolai a little bit because he did it for the 21K because he was in third place, which he finished. It was his first world like championship podium, so he didn't risk it. And then I've been teasing him a bit. So
Well, congratulations. It cost you the race.
yeah, that was great. No, he felt really bad about that. I get it. That was rough. But I ran well, so we got back into third. Actually with like a 2 minute lead to fourth place, which was the French team with Basilico on it. But I think that they just struggle a little bit with yeah, yeah, the overall. But but yeah, team race was fun. Really enjoyed that. It's always a blast, right? I think we should have more of those, and I really hope to run with Ida. And if it's Nikolai or Jonas, or we have like such a good pool of good Danish guys. And the next team race for me is going to be Saudi Arabia. That's how I'm going to start 2024. That was your idea that I should come and do that as well. So thank you, Matt, for inspiring me to think I could run around in the desert for that long.
Well, listen, I was tasked with finding the best athletes, the best OTR athletes in the world. And even though you are not a distance 8 hour endurance specialist, you are a European champion and
Mhm.
someone who I know is a great ambassador for the sport. And that's the other thing that played into deciding who I was going to bring, who we're going to
Mhm.
bring. So, of course, I called you. And I definitely want to talk about your team because right now, I mean, I was just messaged today. I don't know if I can say this, but another guy that was going to run individual just said he's putting together a four-person team. So it feels like four-person team is
I
going
think I
to
know
be
who you're talking about. It's
well then
Stein and Esse, right?
hang on. Hang on. Don't they already have a team? Hang on. Let me go to I have so many accounts. I have many accounts.
Yes. Well, I
Uh
think, well, so I'm doing a four people team with VJ Jones, Manu Dufo, and Nicola Dam. I believe we are a very strong team, but I also know that the Czech guys are doing an incredibly strong men's team.
which is
Like
who
Pavel,
go ahead.
It's like Pavel Hadinia, Richard Heineck, Peter Winicki, and is it Peter Seniga for the last guy? I'm not sure actually.
Well, Sergey and Co might be doing a four-person team. That's the latest.
Okay, that could be pretty strong as well.
I mean, you would be the favorites if we were doing odds. I think your team, right, based on who you have, would be the favorites. But listen, it's not 24 hours where truly anything can happen, but it's 8 hours where anything can happen, right?
Something can still happen.
Yeah,
Um,
and you know, if you heard me talk to VJ, I was trying to kind of warn him, like, hey, you know, everything feels good, everything feels good, everything feels good. Ooh, what was that? When I landed
mhm.
after that obstacle, right?
Why
And
did I
then
feel so weird? Yeah.
what right 2 hours later, ooh, that's still there. Like anything can happen, especially with four. With four
Mhm.
people, any one of those people, something could happen. So it's who's gonna run the smartest race, who's gonna it's kind of like in football, whoever makes the least turnovers, right? Whoever makes the least mistakes is gonna win it.
I'm lucky to be on a team. I mean, I've created a team here that I think we not only are we strong enough athletes to pull this off, we have the right distribution of how we do things. Like we have people who are very good at the structure. We have people who are good at problem solving on the go, and I think the mix we can have here is really really good. The only disadvantage is that of course, the distance is the obvious one, but we haven't really had a lot of time to like actually go training together. So the Russian guys, the Czech guys, the potentially Dutch guys, and the Americans might like is Tyler and Chris Bob Brown doing a two people or a four people team?
That's a great question. I can't remember. Let me look.
Because I
Um,
texted with Tyler, he was not very direct in his answers about that.
well, that's
I'm
because maybe they want to you know, keep you guessing.
sounds
Chris and
like
Tyler, what a strong two-man team.
that's a good two-man team because they can both run for 8 hours and they
He,
would both be good.
yeah, Chris Bob Brown, who used to be my coach.
I cannot believe that Sergey Pyroligin is not going for the 8 hour. I thought him as an obvious
Listen,
candidate for top.
listen. This is just I shouldn't have even said it. Maybe I just heard they're maybe looking at it.
Hmm.
Uh, let's see.
Interessante. I've heard differing things about the rules as well, that the configurations of how you run as a two and a four people team. Can you like confirm that a four people team, everybody runs the first lap and then you go run in pairs two at a time, and then the final lap you also run together.
Correct. And for a
And the final
two-man
lap,
team, for and a two-person team, you have to run
mm,
every lap together. There were a couple of years where you could tag team, but they kind of
mm,
realized that sort of defeats the purpose of a team race. So
mhm,
two-man runs every lap together, four-person team, first and
mhm,
last together, at least two people on the other ones. Um,
mhm,
here's the question you and other people have asked me. There
mhm.
is a $5,000 bounty for the
I know.
fastest lap from a man and woman. And so people on the four-person teams, you're going to have to be moving pretty quick to win that. And then what are you going to stick your arm out like just to win the 5,000 and then split it among the four of you? I mean, it seems kind of silly to go after it.
I think it's I'm not, yeah,
I
for
would let an
me.
individual win that is what I'm trying to say. Like
I
I
would
would let
also let an, I mean, if I was an individual that wanted to go to Saudi real bad and try running for 8 hours, but I knew I couldn't podium or get top five, but I knew I was really fast for like an hour, and you're like, maybe I'll get top 10, I would just like go bananas for that first
right.
lap.
So why try with a four-person? Why fuck with it?
I'm not gonna fuck with that. I'm out to get those 40,000
I
for
don't
the
know. I thought
team.
you asked me. You or somebody else from the teams were like, "Well, how do we win
I
if we're a
asked,
team?"
I did not ask for on my own behalf
Oh,
with that
okay.
question. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you should mess with it. I think probably it might be a local guy who's like a 5K runner that's like, I don't even plan to do more than a lap. I'm just going to
Yeah, I'll
fucking
go do a
win
lap, get
5,000
5,000.
cash for myself.
Go ride a camel and have fun. Like you could do whatever you want. Like it sounds like a good day at the office to me.
Right. So you're going for the 40,000 US dollars, 10,000 apiece.
Mhm.
Um, uh, you've already won what, 50,000 last year from Gov Games?
It was more like 25.
It was
Oh,
100,
no, the team won like 130.
130 divided by five or four, six.
Six people. Six
Oh,
people.
six people.
We had a substitute guy as well. So five people, and then you also have a substitute person. And of course we're including that. So yeah,
No,
six
of
people.
course. Of course. Okay. So you
And
said
we're gonna
train.
play afterwards, like
Yeah,
the
you
week
told me
after.
that. It's like the next week. Um,
Mm.
and yes, I do think time together helps, but I don't know that even if you spent 2 weeks together, maybe that bonding would put you over the top. Maybe it wouldn't. I'm not, it would help, but I don't think it hurts you that you're not doing it.
I'm getting in early, so I'm hoping to convince the team to do a similar thing. We haven't had a team meeting about that. I'm arriving in Dubai on the 17th of February, which is a full week before the race, and I'm flying to Alula on the 22nd. With Fly
Will you,
Dubai.
will you
Flight.
have a coffee with me in Alula?
I would love to. I don't drink coffee, but I'll have something else with you. I'd love
Tea?
to hang out. See, I'd love tea.
Okay, let's have a tea together in Alula. I don't even have my ticket yet. I got to get my ticket.
I'm getting in the 22nd, and then the race is on the 24th, and then 25th already in the morning. I'm flying back to Dubai because I have to get ready for Gov Games.
Um, what have you heard anything about Gov Games? Like same basic concept, anything different?
Same fundamental concept. I think this year with a people know what it is now, and they kind of have an idea how to structure things. I think more people, the teams that will show up will be more competitive. But still, I feel a little bad for everybody who flies there to think that they can beat Team Copenhagen. I mean, but it's a lot of money for second place. So I really hope people come to get the second place prize as well. It's still like $65,000 for the second place team. So people should try and come and get that for sure.